What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Fight Like Hell podcast, episode 42. We're coming to you on a Tuesday, December 14th, 2021. In case you're listening in the year 2097 and you're confused which episode we're on, we actually have a very inspiring guest today, a dear close friend of both of ours, Mr. Spencer. I actually don't know your last name now that I think about
If
it.
you can read, it's on the screen.
Oh, shit. It's right there. Yeah.
And
Spencer
it's my,
Kirk?
It's his tag and everything. Like that's
Yeah.
his Instagram handle,
No.
like everything. Come on, Rob.
Well, we
done,
all know I
Rob.
don't read. So
Yeah.
Shitty friend.
Fuck, dude.
Oh, we can
Wow.
get into shitty friends. Let's introduce Spencer first. That way we can see
Super close
people-
friend that I have no idea what his name is.
who
and
the
go.
fuck he is.
Oh well, fuck,
Spencer.
fellas. Thanks for having me.
Dude, we're stoked to have you. Austin, how you doing today?
Good, how you doing?
Doing all right. And I'm just excited to have Spencer on just because of the fact that we'll get into Spencer's backstory here in a sec, but just a little tidbit. We've known Spencer probably over a year now, just over a year long. We met through social media. We've dated a little bit on and off. And Spencer has a really fucking awesome podcast that one of us listens to all the time. The other
Yeah.
person is far fucking
I said this,
behind.
and so we forgot to say our sponsor for this episode. Send butter.
Yeah,
Send
you
butter.
fucking know it. Let's go, fellas. Let's go.
Let's go. I should have worn a butter shirt. God damn it.
I have,
There's one
yeah,
in the
I should have
closet.
too.
Gosh.
All right,
Fellas.
stop the podcast. All right, Spencer,
Uh,
introduce yourself though. Like, tell some of our listeners who you are.
Yeah, right on, dude. Well, thanks again for having me, fellas. My name's Spencer Kirksey. Man, where to begin on a backstory?
Just a short summary.
A short summary. I'm the co-host of Poddymouths, the podcast. My buddy Paul Salgado, and I'm also the co-owner of my own apparel company called Send Butter. And I've met up with these guys just like all of us do here now with social media. It's the new dating app, heterosexual thing only. It's been really cool to. I say this all the time. I've met so many cool people through social media, and if you were to tell me this 20 years ago, like this was the kind of the way you're going to meet rad people, I would think you're lying. But here we are. So again, stoked to be here. Let's get this party started.
All right, let's get into
Cheers,
it.
fellas.
Cheers. Yeah, let me crack one.
Mm.
Austin, did you get anything?
I mean, not alcoholic, but no.
You're
Oh,
such
okay.
a bitch.
Okay.
Mom,
See
you're
ya.
not going to want to listen to this episode, by the way.
Yeah, this is definitely, especially
This is
the
definitely
ending.
going to go off the rails.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Come on. Whenever I'm invited to something, it always turns out.
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
bullshit at the end.
Oh, yeah.
What-
When I saw,
Yeah.
what are you drinking right now?
Well, shout out Sister Dale Distillery. Got a little bourbon
Yeah.
over here. Little 93.4%. This is their white label, dude. I shoot content for them. That's something else I can tell a little bit about. Is I pretty much was in the world of education for 10 plus years as a teacher, and then COVID hit, and I got axed. I was in the first wave of getting axed, and I was pretty unhappy for the last 2 years of that career. And I said, well, fuck it. I've been super into the social media thing, super into content creation, photography. Growing up, never took it like too seriously. But I had been in it for like a few years, and then I just said, "Fuck it, let's send it." And so I started the podcast right when COVID hit, which was arguably the worst time ever to start a podcast because nobody's in the car commuting, which is we all know is like the prime time for you. Well, at least it used to be as your prime time for listening to podcasts when you're on the road. And then shortly after that, I started my own apparel brand, Send Butter, and I'm pretty much a hired hand for agencies. I create content, I do strategy, social media marketing, you name it. It's been a blessing, and I say this all the time when I introduce myself and give my story. It's super wild to think that a guy who did all the things right in college. What I mean by that is, you know, I got the degrees, I got a job that was directly in my field, and then fast forward 10 years, and I'm in marketing. You know, so it's super weird how everything played out, and there's a lot of bad shit that happened during all the lockdowns with COVID and everything. But I'm super, super grateful. It's definitely a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll definitely get into a lot of detail on your podcast background and your college background, because there's a couple things I want to bring up that both Austin and I know about you, but our listeners don't. Um, One of the things that you hit on earlier, though, that I actually felt the opposite way was I found you guys during COVID, and it was refreshing, even though you guys were kind of rambling idiots for your first.
I mean, so were we.
Like, I think the first 41 episodes we've done are terrible. So like one, but no, all jokes aside, like sometimes like it was it was good for my mental health to like find people that I enjoyed listening to, such as like the Joe Rogan podcast, Andrew Schultz, and then even you and Paul. And it was like one of those things I had something to look forward to every single week, even though like I was locked down at my house and couldn't do anything. I was like, okay, and, like, I actually know these guys. Like I can bullshit with them and ask them about microphones and ask them about like podcast experience, because we started probably like almost a year after you guys and have been learning the process from, the things that you guys have achieved over time. So like I would say that like your timing actually was fucking awesome in my opinion.
Well, that's super humbling to hear you say that, and I truly do appreciate the kind words. We're still figuring shit out as we go, man, and I don't think we'll ever figure it all out, you know. And speaking of a bigger picture, but the podcast has been so much fun, and we've done a little bit of a revamping as the years come into an end. Same kind of bullshit direction, but you know, you can see my background here. This is a little bit of our studio now. And I'm super excited the direction we're headed. We got some really big hitters lined up for next year. We got some great sponsors that I can't wait to announce when everything's dialed in. So it's really it's funny you said like it was kind of your time to like chill out and just kind of be with the boys, so to speak, right? And
Mhm.
that's kind of how I feel when it's time to press record, when we do an episode, and I sit down, I pour myself a glass of bourbon, we turn on the mics, and we just blah, just go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just verbal vomit, things that have been in your mind, things that you've been wanting to say, things that are frustrating you, things that are making you laugh. And one of my favorite things, I mean, I enjoy like when Paul and I have our one-on-ones and just bullshit, but when we can find somebody who has just got a super interesting story and they just happen to be in town, or they're, you know, semi-local, and they come in, sit down, hop on a mic and just bullshit. Man, we've had some amazing guests come in. I urge everybody to go check us out. There's some really, really fun guests that popped in, and something that we kind of hang our hat on is like, we are a zero filter, zero bullshit podcast. You know, like we are gonna tell our story, and we're gonna say our opinions, and whether you like it or not, we're gonna say it anyway. And we're gonna leave it up to you if you want to keep listening, because that's just the
Is,
way
is,
it unfolds for us.
and say, is this our podcast or yours? I mean, I don't.
How dare you?
How dare you? No, but it speaks true. And as actually, before we go too deep in this, go ahead and give out your ads for everything. That way, like
Sure.
people can find Send Butter. That way they can find you. That way they can find Poddymouth, all that good stuff.
Sure. Yeah. So my personal handle is Spencer Kirksey Official. Funny story. I put the official on there because I was an asshole. Like when I had 800 followers, it was a joke. I was bantering with somebody. I've been really enjoying like political trolling right now. I'll hop on Gavin Newsom, our terrible governor's handle, and start trolling people. And someone's
You
like,
mean your
"Oh,
best friend?
Yeah,
your best
fuck.
friend.
I thought you
God.
loved that dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I want to kill you guys for saying that. So coming from the guy who has official, I was like, well, it's a joke. It was a joke, like a long time ago. It's like, fuck you, man. But then after that, we got at Poddymouths Podcast, and then we've got at Send Butter, and you can find Send Butter and Poddymouth on Instagram and TikTok, and then I'm only on Instagram. So, boom.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, so the first segment that we usually do of our show is we go into weekend adventures. This is the part where Austin bores everyone, and then
Yep,
I excite
usually.
people, and usually our guests do. So, Austin, what did you do this weekend?
Oh, I did a whole bunch.
What did you
I
do?
did a whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah,
What
I mean,
what
you
do
had your
you do during the weekends, bro?
Mainly the same thing I do during the week is work on business stuff.
filling orders for Save Our Six and
Yeah,
Vigilant and Humble.
90% of it is just working on business.
Well, I mean, dude, I respect that, dude. I wish. I mean, Tim Butter's going great. We're only like a year and like fuck, dude. It's not even 2 years, like a year and a half in. But I mean, you went full send. Like I've got another job, you know what I mean? But you went full send into Vigilant and Humble. So I mean, more power to you, dude. I'm sure you're just fucking always doing something for that.
Yeah, I mean, and then I have to help Rob too. So
Yeah, I mean, we all know Rob needs a little bit of help.
Okay.
I'm trying to run like 3 different businesses over here, at once, and
Yeah,
be Rob's
yeah.
executive assistant.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Spencer, what did you get into over the weekend?
So I've got a hunting tag, or I should say, I have a archery only tag for this year's hunting season
for late season.
So, I'm in California. Don't hold it against me. It is what it is.
This podcast is going to end right now.
And that's a wrap. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Don't follow Spencer.
Unfollow.
But so California, obviously not the greatest place in the world if you're going to be an outdoorsman / hunter. But we do have some kind of cool tags where and I know this probably is pretty common for everybody else, but and we have to get drawn into this tag, but it's an either sex late season tag. So we can shoot either a buck or a doe all the way up to or technically your last day of hunting is December 31st. It's hot as balls where I'm at. So it's like hunting in like August, September is a wash. Like there's really, for me, I'm like, I can think of so many other things I'd rather be doing than sitting on a rock with my bow in 100-degree weather. So I kind of waited out. November came and went like fucking the wind, dude. And here we are, mid-December. So I've got to get cranking here. So I went out last weekend. I've been kind of peppering the spot that I have in the last couple of years. There's deer in there. It's just it's really a matter of like me, like being there, right time, right place kind of deal. So that's what I did over the weekend. Went on a little bow hike,
Did you see anything?
Saw some things, but again, couldn't close the distance. When you're shooting a bow, dude, and especially for me,
I know.
I'm not shooting anything over 40 yards, 50 yards.
No.
Like 50 yards, like it's got to be a perfect
that's a long ways for a bow.
Yeah, at least for me is. I know there's some savages out there who are shooting like 70-yard shots with arrows.
I mean, we're not Cam Hanes or anything. So we can't shoot 100 yards with our eyes closed. So
yeah, but again, that guy makes his living drawing a bow back. So I mean,
right,
it's a different story, right?
Yeah,
we're not in the same ballpark there, but
not even close.
Hunting used to be like a huge part of my life, and it still is. But ever since getting put on furlough, I say furlough because technically that's what it was, but I'm obviously never going back.
Right.
After that happened, started the businesses, started this completely different venture into marketing and social media management and strategy and campaigning and content creation. Like, dude, my time, like, I feel you, Austin. Like, my time, like, so much to do in a day. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
well,
just
especially with content creation.
Yeah, content creation. Dude,
content creation takes a lot of time.
It takes so much time, dude. And don't get me wrong, like I'm not trying to complain by any means because I'm super grateful for the work because it can go like that, And that's the crazy thing about this line of work is that like, dude, it's great when the getting's good, but like it can disappear with the wind.
Oh, yeah.
And I got a big scare early this year where I had an account for a long time, and then they just like pulled the plug on me on a Friday, and that was like at the time it was a major portion of my monthly income, and and then you go, well, fuck.
Yeah.
So some people may crumble, some people may like, well, fuck it, this isn't for me. I'm just gonna go back to the quote real world or get a corporate job or fucking whatever. And I decided, well, all right, let's hop on the horn and start calling people. And luckily for me, again, we go back to the social media thing. It's like I know a lot of good people, and a lot of people who are in a lot of different avenues. And you start hopping on the horn, making some calls, shaking some hands, and then before you know it, you got more work than you know what to do with. And again, it's a good problem to have, but it is this line of work when you're a hired hand. When you're a W-9 guy. Like, it is a little scary, dude. It can be a little scary.
Well, it's because, it's because you don't know like necessarily where your next meal could come from. Because like I said, you could be making $5-6 grand a month, 1 month, and the next month making $300 because
exactly.
You don't know.
Exactly. But I was gonna say, it's like, I always ingrain this in my brain where it's like, well, if I got a salary job and I work for somebody, it's, there's that safety net, right? There's that invisible safety net. It's all bullshit. It really is. I'm living proof of it, dude. I was a teacher for 10 years and I was in the first wave of cuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you think there's loyalty, or you think there's things that are in place that are really not in place. So you might as well be doing something you want to be doing. You know what I mean?
But you also weren't an important teacher, though.
It's very true.
You were just a PE teacher.
I was a PE teacher, athletic director. Fuck me, right? Like who gives a shit about that?
No one cares about them.
And you had bashing ideologies with your counterparts in California.
Dude,
that probably didn't go well in the teachers' lounge.
Oh, dude, I was the most loved / most hated, for sure. Head of admin hated my fucking guts, dude. She wanted to see my head on a fucking stick, dude. But because I was always the guy. Well, I was one of 4 males in the entire faculty. Okay. And I love women. I'm not a fucking woman hater by any means, but when you're in South Orange County, it's very liberal, very woo-woo. And here I am, a strong male figure, an outdoorsman, and definitely, as Rob said, definitely some clashing moments for sure with ideology. Yeah.
So now that we covered Spencer's long ass weekend backstory, let's go into you, Rob.
I'm sorry, is this not a podcast? Are we not supposed to be talking right now, Austin?
No, you talk too much.
No, I love it. Honestly, it's great content. Fuck, what did I do this weekend?
This is your fucking
I went on 3.
That's what I'm here for.
Hikes.
Remind him.
I went on 3 hikes.
You went hike with your dog. Say it. You went on a hike
I went
with your
on
dog.
3 hikes. I was screaming at Instagram because I actually have to get into an interesting conversation with you, Spencer, about Instagram Reels because it's fucking driving me nuts right now.
All right.
So, I did like 3 hikes. I went 2 miles down into the canyon on Sunday and did the treacherous hike back up, did about like 12 or 1400 foot elevation gain. And a lot of it is like at probably like a good 20% grade. Like it's some steep shit.
Okay, weird flex, but I get it. All right, keep going.
Yeah, no.
I mean, he just likes to flex that he lives in the Grand Canyon.
It's like no one knows. No, but like got outside, got to do some cool adventures. ALY, who's sleeping behind me right now, she got to get out and do some cool stuff. But here's where I'm going to segue kind of back to you because we're enjoying your conversation. So one of the things that I've observed and listening to like a few episodes ago, you brought up something about like the algorithms and Instagram are changing to support video content, not picture content. We can't all be superstars like you with like almost 20,000 followers.
Fuck.
But like,
get fuck out of here with that, dude. I've been stuck at 16,000 for literally like 3 years, dude. I haven't budged.
Let's just round up to the nearest 5.
Yeah,
close
that's a
enough.
nice roundup. I wonder if you do that anywhere else, Rob. It's
I do
like
it-
it's like 4 inches, but we'll call it 7.
So what I've been trying to do,
and we wonder why Rob's single.
oh my god, dude, no, I hope to God my mom's not listening to this. None of those girls used to complain when I fucked them, so like let's move on from that.
God. Another weird flex, but keep going. I like it.
I think the distance is what
Oh.
ruined a lot of those relationships. The fact that they couldn't receive me enough.
Now he's just making
That is the
excuses.
weirdest way of putting that. Receiving me.
Yeah,
That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. But I'm actually into it. So keep going.
Now you get to see what I put up with.
It's the Scotch talking. This is not definitely a mom or dad friendly podcast. Anyways, so I spend fucking an hour and a half working on reels the other day because, like, all right, you obviously have a decent following. Both of you guys do. I feel like the content that I come up with is pretty unique and pretty fucking badass. Like the stuff that I get to see out here, people wait an entire lifetime or never.
Where do you live again?
Who fucking knows where? But anyways, like I go to all these cool places. I have really cool fucking videos, and I cannot figure out Instagram Reels to save my life because like what I've been trying to do is I take trendy videos and I'll use whatever the tutorial is for it. So like if it's saying like, you know, use this song and then at 1.7 seconds you transition to another video.
Those
so
are
like you're
super fucking hot right now. Those kind of videos.
Yeah, those are exactly. But I have some that fucking scorch. And when I mean scorch, like I'm not at the level you guys are, but I'm talking about like, you know, 5,000, 6,000 views or something like that, which isn't a lot. But then like I put together a simple one the other night, going off of the new feature that the iPhone 13 can do. It's awesome. Maybe
cinematic mode.
Can you pull it up? Can you pull it up? Because like personally, like I think this was one of my best Instagram reels I did. It was only like 10 or 9 seconds long. And it's talking about like it's called I Don't Fucking Care. And it's when you're walking up with your iPhone 13 upside down, you flip it over, and then you switch it from photo or from video to cinematic, and then you switch to like a cinematic shot. Have you seen that yet on the iPhone 13?
Maybe. Are you gonna pull something up, Oz?
Yeah. Austin's gonna pull it up off my Instagram. Personally, I thought it was like one of my best videos I've done. It's so simple. It was so easy to upload. I was like, this is a give me, because my last couple have been 3K, 5K, 6K. Dude, I got like 500 views on it, and I think like 50 likes on it, and
that hurts a little, doesn't it?
Fucking bananas. Like I don't get it.
Well, I will say, you know, people look at, oh, he's got like 16,500 followers. Oh my God, dude, my engagement, like, dude, Instagram put a fucking cock ring on my engagement, dude. Yeah, so I remember this video. It was a good video.
You were one of the first people to like it.
Wow.
And it's all about like,
that, all right.
This is the transition, like, and it goes to the beat. Can you play the audio, Austin?
It's supposed to be. Oh, it's muted.
There you go.
Fucking care. I don't fucking care. Damn.
All right, kill it. But it's sick and simple. I've seen other ones that get like 40,000, 50,000, 100,000.
Ask yourself something. Was there a hot girl involved in any of these other videos?
No.
You lying?
The location though. I got a cool dog.
I would say, and he refuses to use TikTok. So,
well, dude, if you're gonna refuse to use TikTok, you're gonna be left behind, bro. I'm telling you right now.
I told him that he refuses to use it.
Dude,
I haven't seen Austin's blow.
Rob, you were one of, I wouldn't say one of our first listeners, but you've been listening for a long time. How you've been listening long enough where if
You
there
fought
is
it.
any dude, I fought it tooth and nail. I called it beta. I called it everything you could possibly call it.
But now he's on there killing it.
But once I realized you can do other shit on there other than really cringy dances, I was like, okay, we got something here. Because I'm a funny guy. There's some funny sounds. I'm pretty creative. I can figure some shit out. And I mean, I only have like, I don't know, was it like 3,500 followers or something like that? 4,000 followers? I don't know. I really don't remember. But again, pushing the video content idea, like TikTok, everything that you see like popping up with Instagram, like, oh, because I don't know if you've noticed, now you can reply to a comment with a reel. I don't know if you've seen that.
It's all from TikTok.
TikTok's been fucking doing that for a year.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, everything comes from TikTok.
Everything is coming from TikTok. And you know that Zuckerberg threw them a shit ton of cash to buy out, and they said, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, because they refuse to sell out to him.
Know. Dude, I will say, dude, I have, this is really weird, but I have this vivid memory of, this was literally like, I want to say it like 6-7 years ago, maybe even 8 years ago. And I was following this cute country girl who, you know, she was kind of white trash. She was cute, whatever. She had some funny videos. But she kept pushing this thing called TikTok. And she was one of the first adopters, dude. One of the first people. Had to have been. And she kept pushing this thing like TikTok. And I was like, oh, is this one of those things? It's gonna fizzle out. Nobody's gonna give a shit about it. You know.
I mean, it did until COVID.
Well, I think about Snapchat. Think about how popular Snapchat was. And then Facebook again tried to buy them out. They said no, and then Facebook buried them. You know what I mean? But that's not going to happen with TikTok. TikTok's just going to keep thriving. It's going to keep
TikTok's
thriving.
the number one.
It is because
the only person I could see buying TikTok is honestly probably YouTube.
Let's hope not, because YouTube's even worse with censorship.
Oh yeah, but I could definitely see like them trying to buy TikTok.
Oh, dude, I did a TikTok video on my Send Butter, and involved a gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was actually a really funny one. It was like, hey, like my name's Sophie, blah blah blah, and I've got some tips and tricks for your next Nerf battle, and I rack my gun, dude. Suppressed to the max, dude. It had like 20 views after 3 hours. I was like, delete. Okay, got it. Not gonna put that out. You know, like I'm not gonna let that one ride out anymore. TikTok's got some weird shit when it comes to firearms and everything like that. But anyway, video, guys. You got to push the video. Don't fight TikTok. Just go.
I use TikTok. I use TikTok all the time.
Yeah, but it doesn't blow up for you.
That one video that Luigi did for me, I posted on TikTok, and it got to 250,000 views.
That's solid. That's really good. And dude, so I also produce TikToks for another brand. So they've like hired me to do TikToks for them, and and their whole marketing team, right? So like I'm just like a creator for them, which is kind of nice. Like, but I also get like the behind the scenes stuff, you know, like the behind the scenes marketing strategy stuff. And they're like, recommended is 4 to 5 videos per day.
That's
recommended.
So I actually I started a sticker business like on the side.
Oh,
and
shit.
I use TikTok to 100% like push traffic to that, right? And I do that. I put 4 to 5 videos out every single day, and I've done that for the past 4 months.
And how's it going?
And I'm almost at 10K followers on TikTok.
The defense rest.
Like it works. Like if you put in the time, it works.
Yeah, dude, what's your sticker business?
All right. Here's my question.
I'll tell you later.
Okay, because I need some stickers, bro.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
What are you guys using then for apps to like? How long does it take you to make a video, or am I going
Seconds.
about the wrong way? Like, because like I'm trying to do transitions off of like trends with like the outdoors and shit.
It'll take me maybe a couple minutes to make a TikTok.
See, I have to go deeper. Like I'm like 30 minutes guy. But again, like
I'm taking like an hour and a half,
oh, that's probably a little
and
too
then
long.
I'm not seeing the results I want.
Yeah. Well,
And
no
then
wonder
he gets
no
mad
wonder
and
you're
yells at me.
bitter. Yeah, no, I
Fuck
get
yeah.
it, dude. I get it. But like honestly, dude, you just got to keep hammering on that thing, dude. You just got to keep pumping out content, whether it's good or not. Like just keep pumping shit
Just
out
keep going to the next one.
because they're going to reward people who are using features. They're going to reward people who keep
Consistency is
pumping
key.
content. Consistency is key. I've got a great ambassador for Send Butter. Should all go check her out. Her name is Meg Riley. She's out of Austin, Texas. She just cracked, dude. She had I believe it was 400,000 followers on TikTok in June. She is right now to this day like 1.4 mil on Tik.
That's insane. But that goes back to tits and ass though too.
No,
It's super
no,
helpful.
it doesn't. It doesn't because she
All right,
actually does straight up comedy skits. That's all she fucking does.
Comedy kills on TikTok.
Dude, comedy fucking crushes. And I even told her, I'm like, kudos to you for you've got 100K on Insta, you've got 1 point something on TikTok. Kudos to you because you have never once shown your tits and ass. Never.
That's
once.
fucking incredible. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Slow clap for her.
Clap it up.
Slow clap.
Clap it up.
Well,
What's her at? So like people can go find her.
It's at Meg Riley. She's good shit. She's a great ambassador for Send Butter. She's a country girl. Dude, she drinks Miller Lite
go
for
slide in her
water.
DMs now.
She's awesome, dude. She's awesome.
So, well, like, do you know who Selena Spooky Boo is on TikTok?
Why do I know? I feel like I know that name.
Yeah,
Something.
she has like 10 million followers or some crazy thing on TikTok, and all she does is comedy.
Yeah,
comedy kills it on TikTok.
Yeah. No, it really.
Like, if you want to be
dude.
funny, like that's the place to go.
And you're like literally just like lip syncing somebody's comedy skit.
Yeah.
And you know you can throw in funny transitions and outfits and stuff, but like.
But
really,
literally, that's all it
that's
takes.
all it is.
You can literally stand there and just lip sync something, and then it can go viral.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It
I've seen
really is insane. Yeah, and you put all this work into a video, and then you're like, "Fuck, dude, it was such a flop." And then you see somebody else who just stood there, but again,
Rob's
like their algorithm,
videos.
Their algorithm, yeah. Start showing your feet off a little bit, Rob. Maybe that but honestly, like their algorithm is changing every fucking 4 days. It's so hard. Yeah. So like I just say like until they decide to sit down and stick with a certain algorithm, just keep pumping content.
I might know a social media guy you can hire.
Yeah, I mean, there's some guys out there named Spencer Kirksey Official.
I like keeping my federal money, and
he's Californian though. I don't know if you want him.
Yeah. I don't fund the Californians. I'll be right back though. I gotta let Allie out real quick. I'll be back. Wow. You guys can keep bullshitting.
I know he's just leaving us for his dog.
This is a super professional podcast. This is like when Paul has to take a pee break, dude.
Right. His 30-second pee breaks that he doesn't wash his hands.
It's absolutely fucking insane. It really is. Like I don't understand how it's actually humanly possible.
I don't understand either.
I check the floors. I check the ceiling. I'm like, is he just like?
Did he miss it?
Yeah, like is he just like as he's walking out? Is there like a trail of pee as he goes out? Like no, the dude's just. I don't.
He just leaves it for you to clean up.
Yeah, pretty much. But anyway, yeah. To the podcast note. We're trying to cut things down because we are like at the 2 hour. We've had pods that are like fucking. We did 1 2-parter, which
I saw that. Yeah.
To be honest, I don't even remember the second part. I don't even remember it, dude. We were throwing down so many drinks. That was the time that we've got a brewery out here called Brewery X. It's in Orange County. They're a big time brewery, huge brewery. They make seltzers also, but their seltzers, not all of them, but they've got a collection of seltzers, 10% seltzers.
That's a lot,
bro. That's massive amounts of ABV. And I remember we we had just gotten like a package from them or something, or we had picked them up. I can't remember because I'm pretty sure they've sent us stuff before, but dude, we were just throwing these, and not only are they 10%, they're in 16-ounce cans. You're just like,
Of course. They're not the real
cannot
8-ounce
fucking
cans.
yeah. They're like not even 12-ounce, like 16-ounce. Perfect. And we were throwing those back like they were water. And dude, I remember a segue. They're like, oh, we got to do a part two. We got to do a part two. I'm like, all right, fine. I remember that moment. After that,
Nothing else.
nothing else after that. And
Yeah,
I refuse to go back and listen to it.
I listened to both parts of those. That was a while ago though that you did
Long
that.
time ago. We had Royce Fonseca
Right.
on, an amazing dude, her landscape.
That was the chick with the van, right?
Yeah, she lives the van
Yeah.
life. Her she shoots, like, her main client, I would say, is Cool, the outdoor the outdoor like outerwear brand. That's actually, I used to shoot for Cool, and so that's how she and I linked up. And her landscape photography is so good.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. You think like, oh, the van life, it's got to be so great. But then, like, dude, there's a lot of fucking lonely nights, a lot of sketchy nights,
Right. Rob's used to the lonely nights, so it's okay.
How'd it go? Is Allie doing all right?
She's doing okay. I made the mistake of like doing that clap, and I think it woke her up. And yeah, so that occasionally happens on our podcast. That's one of the things you said earlier about podcasting that we actually love. We kind of hate when we like occasionally doing a podcast with just him and I, but we thoroughly enjoy bringing on people who have interesting backstories. And with that being said,
okay, now it's my turn. Gotta go let my dog out now.
With that being said, let's go like a little bit more deep into your backstory, because we kind of touched on a couple things. One of the things that I didn't hear you say yet, that's one of your flexes, is your collegiate background, man. Talk about sports and stuff, man, because you and I are both athletes, so like I have a lot of respect for other athletic people. Talk about your background in athletics.
Sure. So even before I even started playing sports, my last career, which I thought was going to be my last career, my one and only, right? I was a PE teacher, athletic director, and then I taught a slew. I shouldn't say taught. I coached a slew of different sports. Baseball being my number one. I played collegiate baseball. Played it all through high school, played some in college, played even a year semi-professional until I hung them up for good, started my coaching career, and finished up my degree to be a coach. But I will say, baseball being my number one, football was truly my number one, which I never actually technically got to play. My mom would not allow me. She wouldn't allow me.
Same.
Which is funny. You play hockey though, because I'm like,
I know. She's like, you can't play football, but you can go play hockey.
You're both getting absolutely slammed around like rag dolls, right? But I guess football is obviously a little more constant. But football, there was something that always drew me to football that I just could never get enough of. Anytime it was a pickup game, it was on, dude. I loved it. And so the way that I got, it was fairly on set, but when I went to Cal State Northridge, and I never talk about this. I don't think I've ever actually talked about this on my podcast, but when I was at Cal State Northridge, I had a big buddy. His name was Mike Fruckman. I haven't talked to him for years, but one day we're in the same age. We're in kinesiology class. We're sitting down, and he comes in. I look at him, and then I do a double take. The dude's got this shiner, like he was in a boxing match with Mike Tyson. And I go, bro, the fuck happened? He's like, rugby.
Whoa.
Rugby's super tough.
I'm in. So we first start doing some club football out in San Fernando Valley. I'm sorry, some club rugby out in San Fernando Valley, because there's a ton of clubs out there. They just are terrible at marketing themselves. And it's rugby. Like nobody out here knows what fucking rugby is, right? It's you go to the other side of the pond, it's completely fucking different.
It's extreme football.
Yeah. It's the way I describe it to people is that, well, one, it's got a million fucking rules. I played it for 2 years and I still don't know all the rules. But it's like the cardiovascular endurance of soccer because it's literally nonstop, but it's the physicality of football. Because like, in football, all right, play starts, you got 40 seconds, set hike, throw the pass, hand off the ball, guy gets tackled, blow the whistle, everyone's got another 40 seconds to recoup. Dude, they blow the whistle, and unless there's a penalty called, like you get tackled, you just get rid of the ball, and somebody picks it up, and then you start running, and then they get tackled, and they get rid of it, and somebody else starts running until a penalty is called or somebody scores. It's just non-fucking stop. So to back up, shows me the black eye. I'm like, dude, I'm in. We start playing a little bit of club out in the San Fernando Valley, which is near Cal State Northridge. And then we said, you know what, dude? Cal State Northridge, their actual college football team disbanded in 1994. And we're like, dude, what if we started a rugby team? So long story short, we started a rugby team. And to this day, there's actually a women's rugby team still playing, totally sanctioned because of what we started.
So you're saying you're playing on the women's rugby team, right?
No.
That's what I heard.
That's what I heard too.
You
started a women's rugby team.
You hide the beard.
A great story,
fellas.
I really appreciate that. No, we started the whole rugby movement. We were there for 2 years. The actual university fought it tooth and nail. But there was this girl who ended up popping up who would play. She was fucking bad to the bone, dude. She would play with us in scrimmages because it was like her and like maybe one other girl that would show up randomly, and the rest of them were just all dudes. And she would bang, dude. She would go for it. And once I left, I checked in, and they did everything. They signed all the letters. They dotted all their I's, and they were able to actually make a women's team 100% sanctioned, 100% legit from Cal State Northridge. And it was all because we started that movement. Fuck, dude, I can't even remember what year that was. Maybe like 2000, oh man, 11, maybe.
Okay.
I got to check myself there. But yeah, so anyway, big sports guy. Baseball was my number one. Football was always deep down in my heart. I got to really kind of live that out with rugby a little bit. But yeah, there you have it.
What position did you play at baseball? Again, I forgot.
So I'm actually left-handed. So I played first base, which is actually kind of, I'm 6 foot, but I'm actually pretty short for first base. But I could do the splits, and I could pretty much pick any bad throw you could throw at me. And so played first base, but then when semi-professional hit, I was like, okay, I'm left-handed. Once you get to that level, like all the first basemen are 6'3", 6'5", 6'6". I'm like, I'm barely 6 foot. Like, there's no way I can compete with that, no matter how good my defensive abilities are. And so I decided to get on the bump, started to pitch. Didn't go as great, but to give myself a little bit of a scapegoat, I'd been playing baseball for, 25 years at the time. My heart just wasn't in it anymore. It was very half-assed. I didn't give it its due diligence, or it's a fair shake. It's probably a better saying for that. Do I regret it a little bit? Yeah, of course. Everyone's got a little bit of something back there, especially with athletics, I feel like.
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude.
But at the end of the day, like, am I happy what I'm doing? Of course. I've got a great family. I've got a roof over my house. I've got a roof over my head. I've got a good job, something I actually enjoy. Sports are always going to be a thing. But I will say, with the political climate we're in these days, like, I have tuned out a lot of professional sports. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, last year, I got really annoyed with the whole entire kneeling thing, especially being a guy that served in combat.
Yeah.
And, the flag means a lot to me. And here's the worst part. And I don't think I've ever actually brought this up on the podcast because I didn't want to out someone, and I'll keep their name silent for now. But there was a group that I was a part of that was strictly set up for people that had served in legitimate combat to link up with professional athletes that are getting out of the sports, because both soldiers and professional athletes, when they're retiring, kind of go through a lot where it's a big mental strain where you don't really know how to convey what you've experienced at a professional level, being, an athlete, going from being watched by millions of people on the weekend to like, oh shit, like this career's over, to whereas, guys and girls that go to combat, you watch your friends get killed and or you kill insurgents, and you go through a lot and you come back and there's a very small portion of the population that you can talk to. I would say now with like social media, it's a lot better, but in general, it's a hard niche. Anyways, the group that I was a part of was the group, and I know the guy that actually set up Colin Kaepernick to start doing the kneeling stuff. And it's very interesting to listen to from his perspective, because I try not to like stay married to my beliefs on anything, and I want to hear people's perspectives before I jump down their throat. He was trying to do something respectful, but at the same time, like it's not always interpreted that way. And I last year, the only game I watched was the Super Bowl, because I got so sick and tired of it. And the only reason why I'm getting into this is because the beginning of fantasy football this year, one of my buddies who I've been friends with for probably 20 years screenshotted a text message that I sent to him talking about like, I'm debating on doing the fantasy football this year, even though we had a league for 8 or 9 years. And he's like, why? He's like, you didn't even fucking play last year. And I'm like, dude, I started my lineups every single week, but I didn't watch a fucking game. And the reason why I didn't watch a fucking game was I was tired of seeing motherfuckers kneel for the flag that I served for. I get that there's unjust things going on in the world, and police brutality does matter. Like, you shouldn't be beating the shit out of innocent people, but at the same time, like there's a place, and during the national anthem, in my heart at least, isn't that spot. So I sent him a text saying like, hey man, like people are kneeling for the same flag that like I've had to drape over coffins. So like that's super offensive to me. So I didn't want to fucking watch. So he screenshot that, sent it to this group email of people that have been playing in my fantasy league for like 8 or 9 years, and called me a racist. And like, I know that the whole entire like thing is when someone says that they're not a racist, they're like, I have black friends or whatever. There's literally like 2 or 3 dudes that are in the league that are black and like really good friends. One of them that I served with overseas, and then another one that I was stationed with in Germany. And it's just, I guess what I'm getting at is the correlation of you saying like you stop watching sports or you don't watch sports as much. Is that part of it, or?
100%. No, again, like I dropped that little tidbit of like, because of the political climate we're in, like I just have a hard time. I have a hard time. Like, man, if I could, it's so hard for me to describe. Like Sundays, my church, dude. Like,
Yeah.
have people over, light up the
Absolutely.
fucking queue, turn on the game, have some fucking beers, have some regrets, like have some good times. You know what I mean? That was my Sunday, And to be fair, I am actually more into college sports than I am into actual professional. I've just always felt like there's a little more passion, a little more desire, a little more on the
100%.
line with college sports. But that's not to say like when Sunday rolled around, man, like I loved Sundays. Now I'm like, I'll throw on the game that's on. Probably not going to have people over. If I'll be food prepping in the corner. I'll be trying to wrangle my 1-year-old. I don't know. It's a combination of me not just giving a fuck anymore, and of just life. You know what I mean? Like priorities change, and all that stuff. But you know that whole mantra. But it definitely has a part. To
Yeah.
a roundabout answer to your question is, it definitely has a part of with all the bullshit that's been happening. I'm just, when they've got the little things on the back of their head, be the change and shit like that. You're just pandering to me. You're just pandering. You're just, again, a sheep. I know the term's been overused, but man, there's really not another way to describe what we're seeing these days. You see a lot of people just crumbling and, just following what they think is the right idea, whether they believe it or not. They just think
Yeah.
like, oh, well, all white people are racist, and cops are bad, and black people can't be racist. Like, I've experienced racism firsthand. Not to say that I'm like, oh, woe is me, but like, dude, I've been fucking preyed upon with racism before in college when I was playing
Mhm.
sports, dude. Like, I played at a JUCO in Oxnard, California. It is heavy Hispanic, dude, and I love Hispanic people, dude. I was actually I used to dance to fucking reggaeton.
Your fucking
dude.
heterosexual life mate is Hispanic. Who I want to bring up next. But continue.
Exactly. But just to nail that down, like, white boy in Oxnard, I was like one of like 3 white dudes on the team.
Mhm.
I've experienced racism, and I'm not saying like everyone was racist or anything like that, but like, dude, there was a lot of prejudice going on. Just being a white dude in Oxnard, and you're just like looking around, you're like, well, fuck, dude. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm not gonna be a bitch about it, like. I'm not going to be like, well, all fucking Hispanics are fucking racist. No,
No,
like, it doesn't work
that's
like that. Just like not all cops are bad. Like, you're going to find dickheads everywhere you go, dude. You're trying too hard if you're just trying to find a correlation between all those things. You're trying too hard.
yeah. I mean, there's no absolutes in life.
Mm.
You have
There are actually taxes and
Oh,
death, my friend. Taxes and death
oh,
will
all right.
always be an absolute.
This is true. This is
Unfortunately.
true. Yeah,
Unfortunately.
and
But
I just got
Until they
Yeah.
invent the way you can live forever,
dude,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Elon Musk is on his way.
I
Sure,
think
he's
so
on his
too.
way to figure out a way, dude. We're gonna
Either
actually
that or
talk about that
Bezos, man. Let's talk about the
tomorrow.
steroids that Bezos is on, please.
Bezos
My
is
God,
jacked, bro.
he
Jacked.
is
He's
fucking
definitely jacked. We're gonna have him on eventually. No, sorry, dude. This is how my ADD brain goes. But like, not Bezos, obviously, but the owner of the gym that I go to, that they're very like anti-mask, anti-vax, like do whatever fuck you
Mhm.
want to do with your body, kind of thing. It's called Metroflex. Shout out to them, Metroflex Marietta. You probably actually seen the other owner from Metroflex. I believe it's Oceanside. Dude, he trends all the time on like anti-mandate stuff and all that, everything down that avenue. Anyway, we're gonna have him on the pod probably early June, early January, and that should be super super interesting. But anyway, I don't know where I was going with that whole Metroflex thing, but yeah, here we go.
It's the whiskey speaking.
It definitely is.
that's just how Spencer brain works. Like, it just goes off in tangents.
There's two things
Oh,
on this.
I remember. I remember now. Metroflex. A lot of roids going on in there, because you said roids with Beso. Like, a lot of roids going in there. It totally looks like a meathead gym, but like, dude, I've met so many cool people in there. Straight up,
dude. Our number one podcast we had was what was it, Dave Ziegler, or
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
like he's a TikTok dude. He's got how many followers? Like millions. He had one account that went down. Dude's like roids all the way through. Came on our podcast, was like a stand-up comic. Like,
He is the funniest person we've ever had.
If
That's
he didn't do
awesome.
roids, you would think that he was a professional comedian, just like the shit he was saying and then the details he went into about being like small and hanging out with like tons of people that were on roids and how he got like introduced to roids into like, working at these restaurants and just, it kind of goes back to something we were talking about earlier. It's just like the interesting people that we have on. And two things I want to go on. One, before I forget, because the scotch is starting to hit. I want to talk about your heterosexual life mate, who we want to have on some other time on the podcast. Great shout out to Paul, but I was trying to think of his fucking handle. I was trying to think of his handle.
He's terrible at this.
Hey,
I'm terrible at
great friend of mine, can't remember his name.
No, your friend, your heterosexual life mate, but he's a good friend.
Paul
So you're not his
Salgado,
friend, is what you're
he's,
saying?
I am his friend too.
Alpha Instinct.
The Alpha Instincts the Alpha Instinct. Paul, the faceless man up until recently.
I'm going to take full credit. Oh shit! I'm not going to say full credit. I'm going to say half credit.
Mm-hmm.
Myself and I believe Stacy at Reload Rub, great people over at Reload Rub, out of Tennessee. We were one of the. I believe we were the two driving forces to actually get Paul to start showing his face around social media. Because when he and I first met,
is there a reason he doesn't show his face at all?
I'm sure there is. Is he going to
okay.
tell you? Is he going to tell you?
Okay.
Probably not. Probably not.
Oh, okay.
I know he likes the
mysterious.
we call it the cryptic, mysterious vibe.
Oh,
He likes
okay.
that vibe. But it's so funny. The first time, and I don't know if this was on your question list here, Rob, but the first time that Paul and I actually met, we were living in a town nearby in Marietta. He and I live like 20 minutes from each other, which makes the podcast very easy. But he rolled up to my house. He's like, hey, my wife and I were in like downtown Temecula or Marietta. I can't remember what it was. They were very close. And they're like, hey, like, can we swing by the house? Never met him before in my life. And yeah, fuck it. Sure. Like, that's why I started Send Butter. Cause it's like, dude, you just fucking send it. And then whatever happens after that happens. And of course my wife's like, have you ever met this guy? No.
He's a murderer.
Yeah, like you don't know if he's like coming out here with an axe. I'm like calm down.
He's Hispanic. What are you doing?
He's colored. But no, like he came out with his wife. We had a couple beers. We had a good time. When you eventually have him on, you should ask him about our time in Marietta, where he and I sucked down and probably maybe 15 beers and had like 2 cigars all in one sitting. That was one of our fondest memories.
I thought that was a normal podcast for you guys.
Yeah, right. Dude, we go back to our olden days, dude. If you go back to like pods like 1 through like 30,
you guys
we're
wasted.
Absolutely murdered, bro.
You guys wouldn't drink anything under 5% or something like that.
Drink anything under 5%, and not only would we do that, we would share beers. Drinking full cans by ourselves the whole time. Like
you would pour them into cups and having testers.
We're gonna do this beer, this beer. Okay, so that means we're getting 6 beers. like we're all drinking these, and they're all like, 6.8, 8.5, 10%. Like it's, dude, we've wised up. Last couple episodes, Paul hasn't even taken a pee break. We're keeping it under an hour and a half. It's been
not saying his pee breaks matter because they're like 30 seconds.
Yeah, true.
That dude does not wash his hands.
No chance. Absolutely no chance. But to come back to it, I met Paul super randomly. I've never met him in my life. I invited him onto my property, and he's one of my best friends. He truly is an amazing dude. Does he have his quirks? Of course we do. Of course he does. We all do. I should say we all have our quirks. But I will say that I will say, and I will totally eat my words if I'm incorrect, but I feel like myself and Stacy, who's one of the co-founders of Reload Rub, we were the ones that like, dude, you gotta get your face out there a little bit, because he was strictly just like drink plate food. Like that was it. Drink plate,
Tattoos.
food. That was it. Maybe you see a tattooed arm once in a while. And then
I mean,
that
I'm
was it.
terrible. It's okay. I'm terrible with the same doing like quite vigilant and humble. I don't show my face on there. Like besides through this podcast, like
Yeah.
it's
You
not
don't
me.
want to scare the people, so
I
like,
know.
You
I
want
get it.
people
Well,
to
like-
actually buy things. So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. I mean, compared to like Spencer over there, who's just the face of everything, and
I'm
you
just a cheap bastard, dude. I just don't want to pay for shit, dude. But I will say, here's a little marketing nugget for you. It has been recorded that people will rather hear about your business from somebody else than actually you. So I think actually
Yeah.
Austin might be actually onto something.
And that's just because people are tired of being sold things.
True.
Well, I
So they
mean,
rather hear from somebody they like think is cool or impressionable,
Yeah,
or
100%.
who they vibe with, whatever.
Influencers.
yeah, no, and like
Never heard of her.
honestly, like if I looked at all three brands from like an outsider perspective, I like Austin's brand because like I have no idea who the driving force is behind it, the way
It could
it's
be
set
one
up.
person.
Like
It could be 100. Who knows?
it could be one person, it could be 100. He has really hot models on there. He has both. I'm not discriminating or sexist, both guys and girls. I mean, I'm on there. We got to get you on there too, Spencer.
Yeah, I've got one shirt. It's a pretty
You do.
dope shirt. It's got the grenade with the chopper.
Yeah, the M67 grenade.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
that thing's pretty dope. It's got like the tiniest bit of like vaporwave vibe in there because you got the gradient sunset, but you got the chopper in there, but the sunset's actually a grenade. It's very well thought out.
I think that was one of the very first conversations I had with you. Was that shirt?
Yeah, I saw it because I was scoping through your stuff and I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And then I saw that one. I was like, that one. I want that one. But there's actually another one. I don't know if you even still have it. It's something Skelly. Got a skeleton on it.
All out
Kind
of fucks to give.
Oh, maybe that's the one. Maybe in a hammock or something tropical.
Yep.
Yeah, this one.
All out of fucks to
Is that
give.
the one you're wearing? Yeah. That's my next one. You still have it up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course I
Very
do.
nice. I'm on it.
I-
I'm on my third whiskey, guys. This is only going to go downhill from
That's
here,
okay.
guys.
I mean,
we're excited about this. I'm feeling.
we
my
know how it
scotch
goes.
over
You
here.
start slurring your words and
Start slurring a little bit, but I'm still there cognitively. So like that's the really most important part about all this.
especially when we get to the end of it.
Yeah. I can't wait for the would you rather. That's going to be. You're going to get some weird shit. I just hope you're good at editing.
I don't have to edit this. What are you talking about?
These
we don't
just
edit this.
these just go up, man. Like
We don't edit this.
and we'll adjust like sound.
Yeah. No, I
We
get that.
adjust
There's like
sound,
minor
but-
stuff. Yeah. Like
there was.
I love just like going for it. Unless somebody says something so outrageous.
Oh no, we
you're
had
just
to.
like, oh man, we're gonna cut that guy.
There was something recently that we had to cut out that was gonna fuck with my like security clearance. So
now that it doesn't matter.
That's
now
spicy.
that it doesn't matter. Yeah, dude. Like I don't even know if you know this. I had like an opportunity.
Wait.
to go
Before
work
you start, is this going to be another weird flex before you start?
Yes, it is.
I mean,
Okay,
it is a
okay.
flex.
Okay,
Yeah.
Carry
It is
on.
a
I'm
weird-
I
into
mean,
it.
all right. No, for about 2.5 years, I had been working with an agency to go work for them to do cybersecurity for them, but it was going to relocate me to DC. It was going to be an agency that I couldn't really talk about, and the podcast would probably have to stop, at least on my end. And it was going to bounce me around all over the world, at least for the first 3 years within the position. And there was someone who recently came on the podcast and said something that would have probably looked kind of weird on my security clearance. So like, I like stopped at the end and I'm like, dude, this got said. Like, this can't be on the podcast. Like, this looks really fucking bad. So Austin was fucking ninja magic, goes on there and he takes down the podcast, strips out the part. And I swear to God, like I listened to it like 2 or 3 times in the area and it's like that part of the conversation, I'm slurring my words too, never even existed. Like it was like vaporware. It was just fucking gone. I was just like,
It's
what?
awesome, dude. It's quite a beautiful thing when a solid edit comes into play.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you just delete people's words.
Yeah,
Yep.
we don't do. We literally on Poddymouth we do zero editing.
Yeah.
Like,
I add
like
the beginning
we
and
like link
music
up.
and that's
We
it.
link up the audio and we just let it ride.
And
Yeah.
that's exactly how every single podcast has gone out for us, except for that one. It was one sentence that had to be removed because like it could have jeopardized. Dude, I am really
It
swearing.
happens. It happens.
I
dude.
could have jeopardized my fucking career. But I don't even know what I was gonna say with that.
I don't know either.
I'm just gonna drink. Take over for a second,
Yeah,
Austin.
there you go.
Anyways, so on to
Switch the
some
camera
trending
too.
news. So did you
Camera
watch
too.
UFC this weekend?
What's that?
Did you watch the fights?
I did not watch them, but I did watch the recaps.
Hell yeah.
Again, I'm a cheap motherfucker, right? So I'm not
Same.
paying
It
for
was like
anything.
$90 for it. Who the
Dude, it
fuck's
was it
ridiculous?
was
Like, bro,
expensive as fuck.
some of these, fuck. Let me tell you something, boy.
Tell us.
Some of these pay-per-view prices, absolutely outrageous. And I
Oh,
get
I
it.
agree.
People are willing to pay it. I'm just not that guy. I'll
Right.
wait
Yeah.
and I'll watch the replays, and then I'll get to know. If you think about it, if you boil everything down, I'll just know maybe like 12 hours later, and I'm okay with that.
And you'll know
Dude.
the important parts.
You
Exactly.
know, as a sports fan, this is something that like I want to bring up with you because you and I watch a lot of sports. Austin has been like melded into sports by hanging out with me more.
Yep.
One of the weird things about UFC compared to any other professional sport that I've ever seen, these motherfuckers like hold on to the highlights. They like don't immediately release like the exact
True.
highlights and what happened.
True.
Whereas
Yeah.
like in the NHL, MLB, NBA, NFL,
It's
you
happening
can
live.
see the
It's
highlights
happening live, yeah.
as it's fucking happening
Yeah.
at halftime. Have you noticed that? Isn't that fucking weird?
Yeah, well, and again, it's because of pay-per-view. That's because of the whole reason why you don't get to see those things live. You know, like I'm a LA Dodgers fan, and same thing, right? Like I'll just like look at their Instagram and like, oh, 5 minutes ago, Mookie Betts hit a home run. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go to UFC and you're like, dude, they're not giving out video highlights. They'll give you the actual results live.
Yeah. They'll
But
give you the
They
result.
will not give you the actual video, and because that's what
I-
everyone wants to see, right? That's the whole thing.
100%.
Everybody wants
So-
to see the guy who gets his arm broken in an arm bar. Everyone wants to see the guy get knocked out. Everyone wants to see the guy who gets choked out. Everyone wants to see all that shit. So that's why they withhold all that stuff. I'd probably say like, I mean, I could be bullshitting, but like a full 24 hours probably before they
Oh, at
actually release
least.
those kind of
At
things.
least.
I would say I don't know, but they definitely withhold those things because of the pay-per-view. I can be pulling that out of my ass, but
I
I'm
mean,
just
it's
gonna
all
go out
about
on a limb
money.
and say that. It is.
It's all
It
about
always
money.
is.
I mean,
But I mean, it's
not
probably,
that they're
it's
hurting for
probably
money or
one of the
anything.
best. Exactly, but it's probably one of the best run organizations as well.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I mean, Dana White. I mean, and all them.
He's a
They
G.
just do a.
He's a G. You
Yeah,
can say
he
what you
does.
want to say about Dana
Yeah,
White.
he's a.
I think he's a straight up G, dude. I love him.
Yeah, he
I
does.
love him to death. He could be a total dickhead. He could be a total dickhead in person, but I would still respect the guy for standing his ground.
Obviously
on
knows what
everything.
he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. Man, there's great footage of him back in the day where he first. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he bought the UFC. We're talking like in the 90s, and the only place he could actually put on an event was in like Las Vegas, I think. And then there was this part where him and his partners were like, there was this point where him and his partners were like, dude, this is it. Like, there's like, we've got to sell or we've got to dump, we've got to do something. And then just, I think it was like I'm totally pulling this out of my ass, but I think it was like an Ortiz Shamrock fight that just boom blew the doors wide open, and people were just all about the UFC like almost overnight. I think a lot of other factors had to come in. Like I think a couple other states were like, okay, well, actually, because there was literally a time where like you could only see a UFC fight in Vegas, like nowhere else.
I mean, it's Vegas.
Is so wild, right? Like you think about that, we're like, no, this shit is banned. You could not come in. You can't come in California. You can't come in Utah. You can't come in here and do this UFC bullshit. It's so wild to think about, and now you see what it is real time. Where you're like, dude,
now it's the biggest, one of the biggest
sports ever. It really is. It really is because it's a no bullshit sport. That's what it comes down to.
You can't bullshit UFC. Like, how are you gonna bullshit getting punched in the face?
I mean, like you could obviously you can.
I mean, this isn't wrestling.
Kick back.
This isn't WWE.
Well, yeah, but you can like kick back boxing where it's like you're throwing fights. I don't think that's happening in the UFC.
Not at all.
No, I truly don't. I think there's too much on the line with UFC, but I think they do a really good job of making sure everyone's playing by the rules.
I mean, granted, I'm sure there's some shady shit that goes on behind the scenes, but just with any company, especially any company that big, of course there is.
One of our guests, her name's Bree, dude. One of my favorite guests. We've had on, and she's
the Timber Sports chick.
Yeah, she's a cage fighter. She used to be strictly in judo and jiu-jitsu, and she just made her debut. Into MMA, and she fucking beat the shit out of some chick, dude. I was like so pumped up for her because she's definitely older. I think she's 30, so like definitely older when you're talking about combat sports, physical sports. But dude, she's just one of those girls who just like has zero fucking quit, and like she's just gonna go until she like physically can't go anymore, because her mind, she's so dialed in on her mind. She's like, I just don't give a fuck. She literally does not give a fuck about anything, and she finally got her debut in mixed martial arts, and fuck this chick up, dude. She's shredded like cheese too. She makes Rob look like a little pansy.
Dude, I've met a couple MMA chicks. Don't even want to fuck with them.
No,
not at all.
He just wants to fuck them.
Some of them, yes. Some
of them are gonna fuck
me.
You.
I was like, I might get pegged. Like,
Rob might like that. Okay.
No.
I saw this.
Luckily, I'm also very elusive and fast. So.
Oh my god, yeah, but once they get their hands on you, dude, it's over.
That's over, and that's when I release. Oh my god, dude! Release ALY.
Can you talk over there, Rob?
You're doing great, Rob.
I'm feeling that scotch, dude.
What scotch was it, by the way?
I can never pronounce it.
Well, just show it to the camera.
The
Balvenie.
Balvenie?
Yeah, it's Balvenie.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. It's good stuff. They make one like, I personally like, one of my favorite whiskeys is
Angels
Envy.
Good.
What's that?
Monkey Shoulder
Envy is very good.
Monkey Shoulder is really good.
Really good for a scotch. I'm not a huge scotch guy.
It's a really sweet scotch.
Yeah, is good.
That's what I like. I don't like smoky scotches.
Yeah, Monkey Shoulders are sweet scotch.
Yeah, my dick isn't big enough for smoky scotches, dude. I just can't.
You don't come on. Just get
just
get some with the what is it, the Lagavulin.
What are you trying? Are you drunk? Are you, dude?
Are you drunk or having a seizure? What's happening right now?
Both.
Sounds like a party.
Right.
What was the name of that whiskey again?
Which one?
The one I just showed is Monkey Shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Monkey Shoulder.
I'll have to hit you up about it later because I'm gonna forget.
It's a sweet scotch.
In the DMs.
And I'm not super into scotch, but like I had this at my buddy's house who's obviously super into like a bunch of different crazy shit, and I had some of that. I was like, that is actually really good for a scotch. If you haven't fucked around with this yet, I would definitely fuck around with that.
What was that? High West?
Yeah, High West.
Yeah, High West is pretty big in like
Do you drink wild
Colorado
turkey?
and Wyoming.
So shout out to Cody. His last name's Pemberton. He sent us this for the podcast. Smoke
that?
Wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, this shit's like very thought after. We'll just say that.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to get your hands on a bottle, and he fucking sent us one. What a guy. What a guy.
Do you drink
Yeah,
any
we-
wild turkey, Spencer?
I don't.
No?
I don't do the wild turkey. Not to say that I wouldn't turn down a glass of it. I just feel like there's a lot of other cool shit out there. Somebody just
ask
gave me
him
this
what.
one, the Jeffersons. It's got literally, and you can't see it because of the ring light and all this bullshit. But
Oh yeah, I can see it.
there's an actual picture of Jefferson on the back of it, which is pretty cool. It's a what do we got? 82%. So it should be pretty smooth. Very small batch, blend of straight bourbon whiskey.
Okay. Well, since we're on the topic of alcohol, what about rum? There, Spencer.
Zero fucking rum over there, my guy.
Yeah,
Zero
let's
rum.
talk about
What's
some
wrong
of
with
the
rum,
gay
Spencer?
shit. Let's talk
Huh?
about some of the gay shit Austin drinks. Austin, let's hear what you drink.
Hey, what's wrong with rum? Okay.
A
What
lot
is
of
wrong with
things.
Funny
rum?
is that Austin is still thinking about that time where I called him out on my podcast
Always.
about being a rum drinker. I've never
Yeah.
met a legit rum drinker where I'm like,
This
yeah,
is
dude,
him.
Rum.
dude, that's
There's a
fucking-
lot of things.
Why?
He likes
Why?
coconut rum. He likes coconut
Oh,
rum. How gay
dude.
is that?
You definitely.
I'm hoping by the time he hits 30, he'll like mature the fuck up or something.
Wait, how old are you?
He looks like he's 42, but he's
29.
actually like 29.
You're still in your 20s?
Yep.
You still in your 20s, Rob?
No,
No,
I'm
Rob's almost
30.
40.
I'm almost 40.
How old are you, Rob?
I'm 39.
Yeah.
You're older than me. Damn, dude. I thought I was going to be the grandpa of the bunch.
No,
I mean,
it's Rob.
you look older than us, but
No, definitely not. Come on.
it's
now.
'cause he has
You're
a kid.
talking about an actual beard model, all right? How dare you say that?
I mean, you're a beautiful man. But I would say side by side, people would think that you're older than me.
For sure. No, you look very young. Very young.
Yeah.
Just wait until he shaves his face.
It's
Yeah, see, I
terrible.
will never shave my face ever again. If I shave my face ever again, it's going to be into a mustache.
Yeah.
Dude,
But
let's do it for
I
March.
can't do that.
Let's do it for
Yeah,
March.
like I literally am contractually like obligated to have my beard now.
You're
Like
I
I'm
mean,
under
Nate,
under contract.
do a minor flex, man. Talk about some of the brands because you got Wrangler. I know is one of them. Who else?
That is true. I've done stuff for Sierra Bullets. I've done stuff for Red Wing, Irish Setter. I'm currently doing stuff for Beard Club, that's where I'm talking about the beard. Like legit, I've already.
like, I have to keep it.
No, I have to. They literally pay me to have a beard, but I've been using their products forever, dude. They're top notch. I wouldn't fuck with anybody else. I remember trying to Target brand like beard cream, dude. The amount of pimples that came through, like through the beard, like the almost like ingrown hair kind of type shit that comes through. Terrible. As soon as I switched over to Beard Club, completely fucking different story. They're really, really good shit. Who else am I working with? Sisterdale. They're good shit.
Reload.
I've been with Reload. I don't even consider them a client
And
anymore.
they have some of
they're
the
more
best
like family.
rubs though. Like I love their fucking seasonings.
Their seasonings. And again, if you're somebody who's watching your weight, trying to be healthy, whatever, that's great. They don't do any MSG. Like there's barely any sugar in there, if at all. Dude, their stuff is so good. Like people who, I think, unbeknownst to them, I think some of their competitors are like, was it Flavor Gods or something? I've had Flavor Gods. Dude,
He's not that good.
It's trash compared, but they're really tight in the like the CrossFit community. But when you compare label to label and you're looking at ingredients,
well, I mean, honestly,
Like, what's the
Yeah,
difference?
honestly, Flavor God is just marketing. Like that's all they
It's
have.
solely
That's-
marketing.
That's all it is.
Solely marketing. Reload is a really they're shout out to Reload. I will say this. I haven't said this to anybody else yet, but they're going to be one of our sponsors moving forward
No, that doesn't
for our
surprise me.
podcast. They're fantastic. They really are. I
Yeah,
would be
I love
using
their
their
seasonings.
and I try to do this with every brand I work with. I would be using their product. I literally tell myself, would you use this product regardless? If the
Right.
answer is yes, then I would work with them. If it's
Yeah.
like, am I just doing this just because? I'm good. I did that with a charcoal brand. A charcoal brand reached out. I'm just like, I'm good. Like, I'll just use this stuff over here. We're good.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just char-
I don't need to. Like, you seem very high maintenance, and I'm good. You may have a great product, whatever, but I'm good here. Like I truly try to just work with brands that I would use in my everyday life. Invicta Coffee, another podcast sponsor. Uncanned
Yeah, that's
CBD.
actually who I was going to bring up next. The
Yeah.
other Spencer.
Yeah, the other Spencer. Invicta's great, dude. That podcast was
Dude,
a banger.
he's only 4 hours away from me. Him and I are supposed to like eventually link up to go hike and shit.
Link up, man. Go hike. Go shoot some content together, man. He's a really fucking great guy. He really is.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Probably one of the better Spencers I've ever met in my life.
Oh yeah, definitely better Spencer than you.
Well, I mean, debatable. How dare you? But okay.
But that's not hard to get better than him,
Now we're just attacking Spencer. Hang on, wait.
Wow.
How did this switch?
All right,
it went
thanks,
from
guys.
attacking Austin on rum to crucifying Spencer.
I like it. Well,
we just gotta make rounds.
Every dog has their day in here. Every dog.
Yeah, we gotta make rounds here.
We we're shitting on Rob super early, and then we shifted over to Austin. Now we're back in me. It's fine. I'm fine with it. I can dish it. I can take it. It's fine. But I will say, Spencer from Invicta is a great guy, and any of your listeners who have not drank the Kool-Aid of Black Rifle Coffee, please go check out Invicta. They are top notch. Great dude, great cause, veteran-owned business, right out of Arizona. Dude, they're good stuff, and the coffee is really fucking good.
It's actually really fucking good.
Sister Dale, I got to be a part of this. Sister Dale and Invicta had a baby. They made a bourbon pecan blend coffee.
So
fucking
good.
So good. And again, like, I know the whole influencer thing, like, oh, this guy's just saying it. I don't make a fucking dime, bro. I don't make a dime saying that. It's so good. Go get it. It's like the perfect fall winter beverage. I drink my coffee black and I drink that shit. It is fucking dined up.
Yeah, like I actually just finished a bag of that one with the bourbon and pecan.
Pecan, yeah.
So
good.
fucking good. And
yeah.
Paid full price, but shout out Poddymouth because that
was code Poddymouth.
That was a discount. That was a discount I used.
Yeah, do it.
I got my shirt and I got 2 bags of coffee from them because me and Spencer bullshit a lot, and sometimes like I'll tag him in content with like Allie, or we'll do we've done a couple of cross promotions because like the thing I want his company to explode, but the thing I like about Spencer is he's kind of like at the same level as Save Our Six, but he actually has a tangible product. So like I want him to actually be able to push into the stratosphere because he literally has fucking coffee to offer, whereas like I have merch right now and suicide awareness, which is important, but it's just like his mission is so cool. He is such a fucking cool dude. And really I'm hoping that his stuff blows the fuck up for next year.
Man. Me too. Like I was one of his first content creators that ever got to work with him. And I mean, you just got to scroll through the page. You'll see my face very, very often, but he's a great dude. We record the podcast, and then funny story that I can't even remember if I said this or not, but I was hanging out with the family in a beach house in San Diego, he happened to be in San Diego at the same time. We both drove down in separate cars to come here to record the podcast, and then we both left. Even though we were both in San Diego, it was like weird San Diego thing. But then we hung out every day. Like I think it was like 2 days after that. Every day after that, we hung out at some point during the day when we were both down there. And I'm telling you, him and
Oh, I have
Oh.
no idea what happened.
We
And
lost
Spencer's he must push button or something.
We'll have to remember this part because we might have to like edit a couple minutes out. 'Cause
Happened.
He's back.
what the fuck happened?
What'd you do? You pushed a button.
What'd
or
you
something.
do?
I literally didn't do anything. I didn't do
Acts
anything.
like you have a podcast, man.
Come on, jeez.
Didn't do a damn thing.
Dude, I don't know. I saw Austin fucking with stuff. You
I
were
did.
in
I
the
was like,
middle
fuck that guy.
You were in the middle of talking about Spencer, and then he got tired of hearing it.
Yep, I was just like,
And
fuck
I
that.
think he
I was
booted
like,
you
fuck
for a
Spencer, but
sec.
the other Spencer.
All right, what do we got next?
Yeah. Let's move on to our next subject. I guess we're in trending news right now, so we're gonna go on to. We already covered the UFC fight. Let's talk about last night. Something that I posted on my story was about former Denver Broncos player Demaryius Thomas dies at age 33 and due to seizures. And this kind of hit home just because, as an athlete playing hockey and, getting blown up a few times in Iraq and Afghanistan, I have a lot of respect for NFL players, especially, and hockey players at the professional level with how many head injuries they receive. You're constantly getting traumatic brain injuries, aka TBI or CTE, from constantly getting your head bashed in. And the Denver Broncos are my favorite football team. I've been following them since the 90s. And Demaryius Thomas and Eric Decker were two of my favorite wideouts that they had during their recent Super Bowl era. And I'll never forget, because I was actually at the Super Bowl where they lost to the Seahawks. The Seahawks game plan, like according to like Sherman Thomas, was hit the receivers so fucking hard that they're scared to catch the ball. That was part of their game plan, to just beat the shit out of both all three of them, Wes Welker, Demaryius Thomas, and Eric Decker. And
I remember Welker had to retire early because of concussions.
Exactly. And DT, Demaryius Thomas, also retired kind of early. He retired, I think, last year or the year before. And one of the things I was reading about the article was seizures, and that's part of the reason why I have Allie is for seizures, for my head injuries and shit. And it's crazy to me, the whole entire, like, it's a saying, but it's also a reality. Not all wounds are visible. And I say that as a representative of living it and seeing it, where you have professional athletes that come back from playing years in a sport where they're getting their head fucking bashed in hundreds or thousands of times. Like, what was it in that movie Concussion? They were saying like centers receive like a couple thousand blows to the head per season or something like that. It's something absurd.
I didn't see the movie, but I mean,
No idea.
It sadly sounds pretty accurate.
Right.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, like, if you go to Demaryius Thomas's like Instagram page, and it's crazy because like overnight that dude has like 30 or 40 new pages that didn't exist before, and I'm pretty sure he didn't have a check mark, so it's hard to find him because he got out of the NFL before like check marks were a
Yeah.
thing a few years ago. And dude was either like in Tahiti or in the Bahamas, shirtless, in great shape, at hot tubs, like chilling, having a good time. And I guess his family was saying in the article, and I don't want to misspeak on this, but they were saying that, up until recently, like he had been having progressively more seizures and stuff. And that's how they found him was, dead due to seizure. And it's just one of those scary things that, you can look at someone like him who was like a specimen of like this well-built athlete, young, 33 years old, is still fucking young. And, he's no longer with us. And it's fucking sad. And, as an athlete and, a coach, like I definitely wanted to bring it up to you because like, I wanted to hear your thoughts on it as well.
Yeah, I'll say obviously, this is terrible. You never want to hear or see things like this, especially at 33 years old, man. Like, dude, I'm 37. Like
Mhm.
it's like this is not right. It's not right.
Yeah.
But I will say, with football, there's this battering ram mentality that's been coached throughout a lot of programs where it's you're using your head as a weapon. And I say this because with rugby, I'll channel it back here. So like rugby, if you try to tackle somebody using your head, guess where you're going? The hospital.
The hospital.
That's where you're going. You know. So you learn how to actually tackle. Okay. And
Mhm.
I'm not saying anything about DT. Okay. I'm just I'll get back to him, but just the big picture where there's so much improper tackling going on in football, college, pee-wee, high school, professional. Professionally, you see it the worst right now, where it's a lot of shoulder tackling, a lot of spearing,
Mhm.
um, and a lot of helmet to helmet stuff.
Yeah.
It's really really unfortunate, and to see a guy like him who's literally 33, and I'm sure he's been struggling for this for a long time, or struggling with seizures for a long time. I'm really really sure that's been happening for a long time. So, and to see it be the demise of him over something like that is just it sucks. It really really sucks. And so I had an opportunity to coach football a couple years, and that was like so much. I'm telling you, man, I had the best time ever coaching middle school football. That was like
Yeah.
so much fun to me. It was flag. It was flag, but that was literally so much fun to me. But I've got kids who are now competing in tackle football and all these other sports that they got introduced to through that program I ran. And the first thing I remember is this mom I'm really tight with. She said, and he's dominating in flag football, and he goes, yeah, he really wants to play tackle. I was like, okay. I mean, like that's cool. Like if he's passionate about it, like that's something he wants to do. Like you gotta follow through with it. You gotta let him go for it. And she's like, yeah, but like after his first concussion, I told him he's done, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I had like 3 concussions before I ever played baseball. So like, okay,
Mhm.
I see where you're going with that, but like whatever. But I said, I'm like, if you really want to fucking impress some people, when he goes to high school, because next year he's going to be a freshman in high school. I said, if you really want to like put yourself on the radar in like a good way to the other coaches, be the mom. Again, be the mom to roll up first day and be like, hey, I want to talk about what your coaching staff is teaching for tackling technique. If you want to blow their fucking mind. And if they're telling anything, if they're preaching anything, and if you see anything in a practice where they're teaching kids to lead with their face mask, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. because you don't need to be doing that. That's that bullshit strongman mentality where, oh, fucking face mask and chest. Yeah, that's why we have such a pandemic, if you will,
Yeah, yeah.
of
CTE.
concussions and head injuries and CTE and all and seizures and like all these fucking brain injuries. That's the reason why we have all that. It's because you've been teaching bullshit technique for so long. Again, in rugby, you don't see that shit. You lead with your head, you're going to the hospital, and you'll never do that in your entire life. Um, again, going back to high school, it's like if they're teaching anything like that, get the fuck out of there. Go to another program. Go to another program that is willing to treat their players like athletes and not just pieces of meat.
Yeah. And actually on the subject of like TBI and CTE, I know that you have a lot of respect for our First Amendment, Second Amendment, and our military. You know, your co-host who I know we are kind of joking on him earlier, but I love Paul and I don't even get to know him the way that you do. And part of the reason is because, you know, vet to vet. And one of the interesting things about like service in the military in the early 2000s versus, you know, present time or within like I would say 2007 and forward is, you know, my first couple of tours overseas or whatever, I got blown up in theater a couple times and had pretty bad traumatic brain injuries. It wasn't until like I think my first like two really bad ones were in like 2003, 2004. It wasn't till 2007 after they did an NFL peer study review where they were discovering that like the impact that NFL players were having with brain injuries correlated to our, you know, men and women overseas getting blown up, and you know your head is just getting rocked by the concussion from the explosive. So
100%.
it's one of those weird things that I'm trying to think of a way to articulate this, but it's due to like their suffering and the stuff that these professional athletes had to go through. They were able to discover that you know, that CTE and TBIs can be found in both our, you know, soldiers and airmen, Marines, and seamen that are overseas getting hurt. And then also, like, I don't know if you guys noticed this on my story. Like, one of the things I noticed when I went through, like, I had to go through this program to like learn how to kind of like walk again, articulate myself, and get my balance back. That way, like they were convinced after my third one, like I wasn't going to be able to walk right. I was never going to be able to play hockey again. I definitely wouldn't be able to run. There was a lot of things that like were super fucked up with me. Like I would walk and I would just collapse sometimes, and you know I'd bleed
God
from my
damn,
nose.
dude. I had no
I'd bleed.
idea.
Yeah, yeah, man. That's part of the reason why I got Allie, man. And it goes back to like what I was saying on my post last night. You look at me and you know like I'm an average looking dude, like you don't see anything wrong with me physically, but and that kind of goes back to the whole DT thing, and it goes back to a lot of people that experience these catastrophic head injuries. You don't see it on the outside because these people look normal. And that's why like when I did that post last night, one of the things I said, you know, TBIs and CTE are found, you know, amongst professional athletes, soldiers, and people in I can't remember the exact word I used, but like tragic accidents. Because one of the common people that would come into our courses when I was going through like brain injury rehabilitation was, I don't think I've ever even actually talked about this on the podcast, was we had a lot of people that came in that just got in really bad car wrecks where like a vehicle flipped or you know they were hit head on.
Mhm.
And you know I'm trying to think of a way to say this properly, but you know coming from an athletic background and a military background, I've always been in like pretty decent shape, and to like be so lopsided on your balance and your ability to walk, and then you have someone else come in who, got hit by a car and, had this catastrophic injury to their brain as well. And just watching like the baby steps that that person has to take to like rehabilitate themselves, it's a lot, and it's frustrating at times because like, you know, like I've had people come up to me and like flat out tell me like, why do you need a service dog? And I'm like, fuck you, dude. Like you have no idea. And then like, you look at people like DT, and it's just fucking sad because everyone thinks that like he's a retired NFL player and, he's got all this to offer. And I don't know, like it struck
Well,
a chord, and then like, go ahead. Sorry.
no. I just wanted to interject and say, one, the person who asked why do you need a service dog, go fuck yourself. You don't need a reason to have that. There's a reason why you have it, and you probably don't know. You probably don't want to know the reason why you have that. And two, the thing with DT is like, I was talking about this with my wife the other day when we found out about DT, and again, 33 years old, had not Hall of Fame career, but
He has
I
a
would
Super Bowl
call it.
ring. He has a Super Bowl ring.
So what I would say is a successful career in the NFL, and then boom, lights are out. And so
Yeah.
it's so interesting to see that, because we always, again, social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a highlight reel. Everything's a highlight reel. We're always showing the best. I appreciate the accounts that show the worst, along with the best. And it's that thing where you would never have known that he was struggling with those things. And then one day it's over, and I would honestly, I guess what I'm trying to say is that for anybody listening to this podcast, I would strongly urge to check your ego, and if you need help in some way, some capacity, go find it. Talk to these guys. Talk to me. I don't know how much help I would be, but talk to somebody about seeking help, because again, I'm not a
Yeah.
veteran. I'm a strong supporter of
And I think
our veterans in America and everything that we stand for. But it's pulling the plug on yourself is definitely not the answer. I'm not saying that was about DT, but I'm just thinking
No.
bigger,
But I mean
bigger
that
picture.
was, yeah, no, that's definitely
Yeah.
something that's huge in our community, and
Oh, yeah.
that's why companies like mine in Austin exist.
I think most of it, like you said, Spencer, is the ego thing. I think a lot of people, it's the ego, and they're just too scared to ask for help. And it's a lot of it's they don't want to be a burden. Like,
And the only thing I want to add is like, everyone hear this. We are not saying this about Demarius Thomas.
No.
We're
Yeah,
saying
no.
in general, like,
Yeah,
okay,
no,
cool.
yeah. This is
Continue
just
what
in
you're
general
saying.
about just
But
people, like especially
it
like
falls
veterans.
into
Like,
the same vein. It really, I feel
Yeah,
like it really does.
Because
Yeah.
you see this lifestyle that people are living, and it's not the reality of what they're actually
not
going
at all.
through.
Exactly.
No,
And,
like
and
you
that's
said,
why you see that happen all the time, where it's super unfortunate where somebody takes their own life, and then so many people are like, I had no fucking idea.
Yeah,
right?
I had
Because they don't show
I
it.
had no idea they were. Oh man, this video that I'm about to describe holds this place in my heart, man. It really does. It makes me emotional, but it is basically showing comedians who have taken their own life, whether it was truly taking their own life or ODing on something,
Right.
which
is still a form of
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm linking it together. It's like it's just a different way to do
different
it.
avenue. Yeah,
Exactly, different avenue. But they're all like the happiest. They're the happiest comedians you ever saw. Like, Robin Williams, Chris Farley,
Yeah.
like
Chris
those guys,
Farley.
like the most
Yeah.
joyous
Oh yeah.
comedians ever, who are just so fun. You see them around, like you see them, and you're like, God damn, like those guys look like so much fun to be around, but in reality, they're dying inside. You know what I mean?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
dying. They're struggling so hard. And so that's I guess the nail that we're trying to drive through here is that it not everything seems like not everything you see seems like what it's actually going on. You know what I mean? There's a
Yeah.
lot of shit going on. And again,
I mean,
social
well,
media, good thing, bad thing, right? It's a good thing. You can connect with a lot of people. Bad thing, it's just the fucking highlight reels, and you think somebody else has got a better life than you, and in reality, they're struggling just as much as you are, or even
oh yeah.
worse.
Well, I mean,
know?
speaking of the veteran community, like Rory, last year or last year, when Rory was going through, like everybody saw the highlight reel. You know what I'm talking about, Rob?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
really good friends with his photographer.
Yeah, so like, and all he showed was the good things. Like you wouldn't, that's because, like you said, it's a highlight reel. No one shows they're struggling on Instagram. They show
because they
all these
think that
great
nobody
things.
wants to see that. They think that
Right?
nobody wants to see
Yeah,
that, but in reality, people do. I truly feel like
100%.
people do want to see that.
Because they want to help.
I try to save all the fails to the stories and stuff. I don't need to post everything, but like
Right.
if it's a good fail, I'll throw it up on the story. Like I think people need to start trying to not be so perfect on social media. And this is coming from a guy who makes a fucking living off of social media. And
Be
Yeah,
perfect.
no.
it,
And
it, people need to stop worrying about being so perfect just in general. Like take social media out of it. And I'm preaching right now to myself. Like
Right.
stop trying to be so perfect. It's so
Yeah.
hard,
But
but yet
unfortunately, that's
it's so
social media.
ingrained. It's so ingrained though.
Yeah.
Whether it was, a parent that didn't do their job right, or a coach, or a this or that, or it's social media.
And a lot of it,
it's unfortunate.
is fear of backlash, because there's always going to be those
Yeah.
trolls. There's always going to be those trolls out there that are going to have negative comments and going to say negative shit if you put something out there that they don't like. And that's what a lot of them, they fear, is they don't want the, negative comments.
Yeah. No, speaking of that, I actually I can't remember the account that posted it. It was a nice video of an older gentleman getting a Rolex from his son. His son bought his dad the Rolex because his dad always said the greatest sign of success was to have a Rolex. And I commented, I'm like, hey, this is a great video, but to say that an object, aka the Rolex, is your sign of success, I'm not into it.
And success is relative.
Success is relative and success is super subjective.
Yeah.
I think
absolutely.
for me, success is like, are you a good dad? Are you a good spouse? Are you a good person? Are you treating people the right way or the way they should be treated? Like those are signs of success for me. And that's why I was trying to, purvey. I ended up deleting my comment. I mean, I actually got like a handful of follows from it. It got like almost 1,000 times. But I ended up deleting it because there's a lot of people who are just like, oh, you fucking dickhead, white supremacist, fucking,
Right. And there's always going to be
I'm
those
like,
people.
I'm like, guys, I get the video, like I get it, but like I also am like, also think about the fact that he's putting so much weight on an object to be successful, but people don't get that,
No.
Well, yeah. And that leads me into this whole conversation kind of leads me into two other topics. And one is a question for you, especially for like your followers and listeners. And I don't know if you guys touch on this much in Potty Mouth, but our listeners do enjoy this part of the podcast. And I would ask, what are some key things that you've done over the past like year and a half that have been good like mental health checkpoints to help you, stay after being a good father, a good husband, keep yourself, I guess, mentally strong. That way, if there's someone out there who maybe has the same similar type of grind as you, they can maybe take some tidbits of advice to
Lots
help
of whiskey and red meat.
Yeah. Eat meat. Next question.
eat meat.
Go carnivore diet, right? Isn't that how you work, Spencer?
No. No, it's actually a really good question. One of the things, and again, we just talked about it 30 seconds ago, is checking. Basically, what I'm getting to is like checking your ego. Check your ego. If you feel like you're doing all the right things, but all these people are still disliking you, or just things aren't working out in a professional or a personal relationships, you're probably doing something. You're probably doing something wrong. And I'll be the first one to admit I am not for everybody. Okay. I will be the first one to admit that I am not for everybody, and that's okay. So there's two things that I would really like to touch on is one, checking your ego, being okay with failure. That's part of checking your ego. You're never going to be perfect. You're never always going to be right. Check the ego. When you need to recalibrate and adapt, do it. Be honest with yourself. And the other one is, honestly, you're not going to be for everybody.
Yeah.
If you truly deep down inside feel like you're a good person and you're doing the right things, and you want to see people be free to make their own decisions and live their damn lives, be okay with the fact that not everyone's going to want to swallow that pill. That's really the two biggest things that I could send to your listeners.
Okay. And then one other thing that I don't even think I've ever told Austin this, and I'm a little bit buzzed, so I'll just fucking say it. There was a couple times, last year where I was going through some shit, and Austin was there for me a lot. But there was a couple times that like I DM'd you, and it was in between like one of my like really bad breakups, and just had questions for you. And the fact that like, in my mind, I'm like, this dude's way too busy to talk to me about shit. Like he's got, a newborn son. He's got his business he's trying to run. He's doing social media stuff. He's got his podcast. But you and or Paul, like I do want to shout out Paul, but you and I had some pretty in my opinion, they were deep conversations, at least for me. And I don't know, man, Spencer, like even though we have never physically met, like I value our friendship, because there's been a couple of times where I've actually been in a dark place and I reached out to you in DMs just to bullshit with you about stuff, and you actually like brightened up my day, man. So like I appreciate the fuck out of you, and I'm like really happy that you actually got to come on our podcast. So for what that's
Dude,
worth, I just
no, that means a lot to me, man. And I've always been the person, no matter what, dude. I mean, I feel like you got to be pretty dense to not know someone's asking for help, whether it's just to have a conversation, or just to bullshit. I'm always there to bullshit. I'm always there to have a conversation about everything. That's as soon as Instagram took off for me, that's always the way I've been, is to always try to be there, unless you're a fucking straight up creeper or weirdo, and I
They
feel
just
like I've
want
got a
feet
pretty good
pics.
radar for that. Which reminds me, Rob, I'm about to block you after this podcast. But anyway, no,
He's just jealous of your
I'm
beard.
always there. I'm super jealous of your beard. But I'm always there for people to ask questions, to just bullshit. I don't know. Maybe that's my weird kink, or whatever you want to call it. Is like I really do enjoy like people reaching out, and like I enjoy conversation. I love talking. Obviously, I've talked more than probably both of you this entire podcast, but that's just the way
That's
I
the
am,
point.
dude.
You're
Like,
our guest.
yeah, no, I get it.
I mean, it's
but
not like you have a podcast or something.
it's not like I've got anything else to do. It's fine.
You don't, so that's okay.
No, but again, going back to your original topic, yeah, I really do appreciate that, and I'm never one to ever shy away from any kind of a conversation, whether it be an easy one or a hard one. I'll always. That's just the way I am. That's the way. I guess you can say that's the way I was brought up. You just talk
Yeah.
it out, dude. You never know. You never know what anyone else is going through, and just a simple conversation that maybe doesn't have a lot of weight to you, doesn't carry a lot of weight to you, doesn't add up to a lot to you per se. It could mean the world to somebody else just to sit there and talk, and again, I guess maybe subliminally, like that's another reason why we started the podcast, because it's just a way for us to just let it go, just go for it.
Yeah. No, there's people that have reached out to us and said that, that they get upset at us when like we skip a week or something like that. Or like there's a couple of people that actually said that they like listen. Dude, like I can't say shit that doesn't sound like a flex. I feel weird saying this at this point. Like
you made him.
I'm not
feel
trying.
self-confident.
I know. I made him. I'm training.
I know, like
training
you're re-brainwashing me. No, but there's been people that have seriously reached out to me and actually said, "Hey, like I like listening to your guys' topics," and then like it sounds so fucking weird saying this.
I'd say about time someone brings down his ego.
Yeah, I like listening to your voice, Rob, because it's very soothing, and it's something that I like to listen to before I go to bed or whatever. And I'm like, so wait, my podcast puts you to sleep? And they're like, no, not like that. But yeah. I guess
no, it's good, man. Take that as a fucking great compliment, dude. If people are willing to. That's the way I think about it. I religiously check our Anchor to see all of our analytics and everything.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's super interesting for me to like see like, oh wow, like
someone in South Africa is listening.
10 downloads, like well, that too, but like like oh, like we just got 10 downloads right now. Like what time is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like at 8 o'clock in the morning, or it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like people decide, and that's the great thing about podcasts. People, there's so many podcasts to choose from in this world. So many, like literally, there's probably the number actually probably doesn't exist that how many podcasts are out there, right? But people choose you. They choose Poddymouths, or they choose XYZ. They choose all those different ones because for some reason we make them feel in a very non-gay way warm and fuzzy. They want to either end their day, begin their day, lunch break their day. Like they want there's something about what we're talking about, and there's a lot of bullshit that we do. A lot of shenanigans. But at the end of the day, we're just a couple dudes fucking around with some microphones, talking and saying the things that they wish they could talk about, and that's what it's all about. To me, it is at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that being said, I think we should change gears here and stop being super emotional.
Are you ready for this, Spencer?
Yeah. Can I get some tissues real quick? I'm so emotional. Oh my God.
We'll get into some ATI. Austin,
all right,
if
I'm
you want to hit us off.
This is your favorite part, Spencer.
Yes, I'm excited.
Okay. If there's any adults listening to this, just turn out now. Any moms?
Yeah.
So, okay, first question. Would you rather have sex with a blind person or a deaf person?
Blind.
Why?
Dude, have you ever heard deaf people talk?
Honestly, I was thinking the same thing.
Right, dude? I'm not going to impersonate because that's going to be very disrespectful.
Come on, let's see it.
No,
let's hear it, Spencer.
You know what? I'm going to leave that to Paul's podcast. But I would much rather have a blind one. For sure.
But then they won't know how beautiful you are.
Well, that's fine. I can tell them.
What about you, Rob?
What do you got? What do you got, Andrew? What do you
Andrew?
Austin?
I'm not
I don't know
Andrew.
where Andrew came from. Austin. Rob, what do you got?
I was gonna go deaf too.
I'm going blind because I want to hear the noises that the deaf person's gonna make.
So you're going deaf is what you want to go. Okay, great.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
I don't want to hear any of that. I'm good.
Would you rather live a life as is or a billionaire, but you have to blow one dude every day?
I'll take my life as it is. No question. I got a great fucking life, dude. I'm not sucking any dick.
Austin, what you got? I know you're sucking dick over there.
I mean, I've already answered this question. Well, on this podcast, but yeah.
You're
for $1 billion? Serious? For $1 billion? That's a lot of fucking money.
Austin is like in the closet gay. His wife.
You said once every day?
Yes, just once.
Not a
for
chance.
$1 billion.
Zero. No, I'm good.
I don't know. That's a lot of money.
I'm gonna pass too. I'm gonna just keep it the way it is. Life is actually really good. I don't remember what my answer was a while ago, but I've actually had an increase in salary. I'm doing pretty good.
I hope it changed because, good God, blowing a dude every day just to have a
I know that's what I was thinking too. That's a lot. I think my question last time was like to completion. I think was my question.
Like, do I just have to like put in my mouth?
The first 99%, the last 1%.
I want to know.
All right,
according to Austin, it doesn't matter.
No, Austin doesn't give a fuck, dude. He'll take a dick.
Yeah,
any
but if
day,
you're blowing a load, it doesn't matter. He's
hey, give that kid
right,
some Caribbean rum. He's blowing dudes all day.
Yeah, Austin, what's your go-to rum?
I have a couple. So there's one that's like it's a Hawaiian like rum. That's like a Hawaiian coconut rum, and it's actually like 80 proof.
Okay.
And then
I
like Malibu, but I like the basic white bitch shit.
Of course you like Malibu.
I mean, I like the basic white bitch shit.
What is it? Sailor Jerry? That's a rum, right?
That's a rum, yeah. That's a spiced rum, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, spice.
Too spicy for him.
No, the spice rum's not bad.
What? Come on, it's all the same. Come on.
It is not all the same.
Wow. Okay. All right, here we go. Moving along here, Rob.
All right, next question, Austin. What you got?
Would you rather shit yourself every time you have an orgasm or get a boner every time you talk to a guy?
Fuck. I mean, sometimes taking a shit is somewhat orgasmic, so I'm gonna go one. Number one. Yeah.
That's a lot of
every time I bust a nut or shitting.
You have sex with your wife and shit at the same time.
Wife.
Yeah.
Your poor wife.
I mean, I'm just gonna tell her straight up, like, hey, I'll fuck you, but I'll wear a diaper and I'll just cut a hole in the front. Yeah. And then we're fine, right? Like, right? I mean, like, I'm not gonna shit everywhere. I'll just wear a diaper. But maybe she's got like a weird kink that falls in line with that. You never know. But like having a boner every time I talk to a dude, like that would get weird real fast.
You can always make up excuses, though.
It's true.
You know, that's where my mind is at. Like, it's easy to make excuses. Like, oh, sorry, I was thinking about this and this.
I'm sticking to my. Here.
I just don't want to have to clean up shit every time. That does not sound like a fun time.
Wear a fucking diaper and cut a hole in the front. That's what I'm telling you, bud.
See,
my first rodeo?
the problem is one of us isn't married over here, so I still have like this random sex life. So, like shitting myself every time I bust a nut with a new
You can be
girl. is
single
gonna be a little bit
forever.
awkward. So I'm going with boners and like just like tucking them in the waistband, I guess.
Yeah, or you make excuses,
Yeah. I'm doing boners.
We got.
Okay,
Hit me
last
with another
Rob.
one.
All right, this should be I think this is the
Yep,
last one.
last one.
All right. Would you rather unwrap a dildo in front of your parents or accidentally have your sex tape played on the TV on Christmas?
Oh man, I have performance anxiety, so I'm gonna say dildo. I'm gonna have to go with dildo. Dude, imagine getting your sex tape revealed in front of people, and they're just treating it
On
as like you're
Christmas.
watching
Parents, not
film in
just
a
your
On
parents,
locker
Christmas.
room.
Your
at
whole
a
family
Christmas
on
party.
Christmas.
Yeah, dude. No, I get it. But like, if someone's drawing like X's and O's while I'm fucking somebody, I'm gonna have a big problem with that. So, I'm gonna go dildo, and I'll be like, "Hey guys, times have changed. What do you want me to do here?" I'm gonna go dildo.
What about you, Austin?
I was just go dildo, and then you can just say it's like a gag gift.
Yeah, I think some of these are so dramatic one way that like it's just too easy to like just like fuck it, this is the lesser of evils. Definitely dildo.
Yeah. Well, all of them are. There's never a good answer.
Right?
There's never a good answer.
Well, I mean that's pretty much our show when it comes to the content that we're trying to put out. The last part that we like to do though is we want to give you the opportunity to plug anything that you got coming up or any last shout outs that you want to do. What do you got, Spencer? Is there anything you want to plug before you get out of here?
Go check out our podcast. Go check out Send Butter. Don't need to follow me. Please go follow the brands. This has been a really fucking good time hanging out with you boys, and I'd love to do it again one of these days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
hopefully we can do it in person. When we end the podcast, stick around for a sec because we got to talk to you outside of this. But other than that, Austin, do you got anything you want to plug before we close out?
Nope, I think we're good.
Okay. The only thing that I want to plug in is on behalf of both Austin and myself for Vigilant and Humble and Save Our Six. As the year is coming to an end and Thanksgiving just passed, I wanted to say a special thank you to all of our supporters, whether it's been through podcasts, through challenges that we've done, merchandise that has been sold, support of either of our brands, or just support in our personal lives. We greatly appreciate you guys. And I think it's very humbling to like get the experience to have someone on like Spencer, like both, Austin and I look up to you. We consider you a friend, and we look forward to having Paul on hopefully sometime in 2022. And other than that, like I'm going to close this out. So this was episode 42, Fight Like Hell podcast with a little bit of potty mouth. Peace.